It's the NUKA-COLA Lounge, presented by the Triple S League.
NUKA-COLA was a popular drink in the pre-war era, and still is today.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Triple S Podcast, coming to you live from the NUKA-COLA Lounge. And today we've got Subsidian, as always. We've also got someone who might be familiar if you follow our channel, Bad Options, with us today. How you doing, sir?
Hey guys, I'm good. Thank you for having me. Honestly, you guys are so talented and knowledgeable. It is truly an honor to be here.
I promise we did not pay him to say that.
They pay me in Snickers bars.
And your next Snicker bar will be coming shortly. I am
Is it fun-sized?
We're FedExing it by drone right now.
Yeah. Drones,
All right.
Drone's gonna bring it to you.
Don't shoot drones down for a little minute.
Yeah,
okay.
Turn off your drone defenses. Yeah. All right, and of course we have Subsidian, as always, who is drowning himself in the various bits of data in the vast recesses of the internet, and has some amazing knowledge to drop on us right now.
Some amazing knowledge. Okay. Well, did you know that the whole Ghost in the Machines, if you remember iRobot and some other stuff before that.
Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, that movie's coming out, but no, Ghost in the Machines. Basically, this has been a long-running rumor that was mentioned again just recently, but I've known devs to talk about it all the time. Is like when they're coding like massive games, like massive games, like games that are not just scripted beginning to ending. You play through it, it's pretty much the same experience each time. Like games that are like open world, how there's so many bizarre ghostly bugs that happen, and sometimes they nickname these things rabbits or ghost rabbits or ghost wolf. Ghost pretty much anything. Anytime you have something that happens that's really weird in one section of the code that affects something weird in a different section of the code, when you try to fix one thing, that's what they call that.
Huh.
Sometimes
They call in Luigi to exterminate.
yeah, and unfortunately Luigi doesn't help. He usually just makes things worse. So apparently he's he's got a contract with the ghosts, and that's how he keeps making all these ghost games. I'm just saying, sometimes it's all connected. Sometimes
We're bringing it back.
He's got to have something on Miyamoto. I mean,
probably.
Probably. How else is he still such a major part of the franchise?
Because he's so sexy. He's the tall one. Chicks dig the tall one. I'm 6'5", by the way, not single.
Yes, actually, Bad Option just got married a couple of weeks ago, and
Ash was my MC. He killed it in a good way.
Yeah, the room was dead. Like the minute I stepped up there, it was
Mic drops. Boom.
I just killed the room.
Thank you for being there. That was awesome.
It was a ton of fun, and I was very honored to be have the opportunity to do that. So, but yeah, so Resident Evil 7. Speaking of dead things and horror
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 7. The full game launched yesterday, but the demo's been out for a while. And we'll now hear from the one guy of the three of us who's actually played it. So, what did you think?
Oh, the demo. Fantastic. And I don't know any other game. I mean, there's probably them out there that release a demo and then update their demo in such a profound way that the media gets hold of that, and you got to reinstall that demo if it's no longer on your PlayStation 4. And I played it through twice, and it was intense. The first-person perspective is beyond terrifying in a surround sound environment. I can't even fathom VR. It's too scary. The textures come alive. First person, you can't see anything behind you. So that fear is always there. Like never, no matter what the sound or you're seeing, there could always be something behind you. And there is. The mannequins move and the phones are ringing, and oh man, it was so good. I never thought that I would want this game so badly, but now that the reviews are out, I want it.
Sounds pretty good, hey?
I want diapers and I want it.
You want diapers. Oh, it's that kind of game. So,
Oh, it's gonna be.
so is it like a, does it have sort of like a Doctor Who, like, Weeping Angels kind of aspect to it? Like the mannequins move when you're not looking kind of thing? Or
Now, hold
That's
on.
exactly
hold
it,
on,
yeah.
hold on 1 second here. Now, I have only briefly glanced over Resident Evil because I just haven't really had time for it. But, so, wait, these mannequins, are they zombies? Are they zombie mannequins?
They're straight up mannequins.
They're straight up
and
mannequins.
you're in this house.
Okay, so,
And you haven't seen
hold
it.
up.
Okay.
When did Resident Evil go from a somewhat scientific-based zombie infection viral game series to a metaphysical ghost / animated things coming to life to haunt you? When did
to
that
be
happen?
a douche, that happened in 7. But for a more realistic answer, this house is full of, for the demo at least, this house has people in it that are messing with your mind. Like, seriously, Kool-Aid Man busting through the walls with swinging giant axes, cooking up dead stuff and forcing you to eat it. Well, I guess that's any meat, but in a gross way. Like, it's just... the mannequins aren't moving by themselves. They are being
So
moved.
it's like,
and because you can...
okay, gotcha. So it's like a psychological kind of horror.
Yes, this
kind of a thing.
family is playing with your head big time.
All right. We're
And
getting into...
I want to know more of the story.
See, there's a couple, like, so horror movies and video games are like, okay, so zombies and a lot of the original, like, Resident Evil is like, those are the best games because there's a fear there because, oh look, there's monsters and there's zombies and they're trying to eat your face and they want to eat your brains, and that is what they want. And that they're a real threat because they might be slow, you might have a gun, but if enough of them get to you, you're just going to be overpowered, you're going to be torn apart, and that's a real fear. That's a real fear. Then I played Fear, right? F-E-A-R, the weird thingy. I played that game, and to quote Ashley Birch, there is no point in being afraid when you are walking, Death Machine. And you have guns and stuff, and like you just can't be stopped.
Yeah.
So that fear kind of fell on its face as far as that goes. But then I had these like really bizarre like storylines that were like so very loosely based in science that it barely made any sense. and it's all like, oh hey, ghosts, woo, everybody's a ghost. It's psychic projections, and it's like okay, well. It's really hard for me to take that seriously. I can't take Freddy Krueger seriously. I could take Jason a whole lot more seriously than I can take somebody seriously who comes at you from your dreams. I'm not dissing it, but I'm just saying I'm a little surprised they went.
You gotta
this
sleep,
direction,
son. You gotta sleep.
It's not your cup of Sanka. Gotcha. So, I guess Doom is a little like that as well. Like, it's the whole walking death machine kind of a thing. Like, here's a question:
in a way.
Is Doom a horror game? And a game's like, because you've got demons, you've got paranormal stuff. It's very gory and bloody, but is it scary? Like,
the only real fear is the jump scares in Doom. I felt.
Which a lot of people would...
It's intense.
Yeah. A lot of people would say jump scares are a pretty cheap horror tactic these days, but...
It can be, yeah.
I mean, that's what, like, Five Nights at Freddy's was built on. And it's kind of, I mean, and I feel it did it very well in that series. But then, as the series progressed, even that same game series, it changed things up enough. Like, there was more to it than just the jump scares. And, in Sister Location, there was a lot more to it than the jump scares. Although the jump scares were still part of it. But, where was I going with that?
is it based in, like, real physics at all?
What do you mean?
Which one?
Doom?
Doom or... Resident Evil.
The thing you were just talking about, the Freddy's like
Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights
yeah.
at Freddy's is it's got a paranormal element to it as well. It's not like
that and Slender Man, I guess. Like that's what I mean is like it's harder for me to take paranormal scares. It's harder for me to take that because it's harder for me to believe, it's like okay,
fair enough.
And not from a reality point of view, from a narrative point of view, like Freddy Krueger and all these movies and games that it's a ghost. It's like, well, anytime they either write themselves into a box or they cheat in their narratives or they create these scenarios where they just make something up just cuz, like those things kind of ruin the experience, because it's like well, okay, apparently apparently rules don't apply, period. And so if rules don't apply to the bad guy,
or the rules can change on a moment's notice to fit the narrative. Yeah, that does feel cheap. I agree with you on that.
It takes you out of it for sure. But the psychological horror, I find, is the scariest thing. That's what makes the Joker such a brilliant villain, because you're always on your toes. You're always thinking, why is he doing this to me? And that's what Resident Evil does right, is why is this happening to me? Why did I choose to come here? What is going to happen next? And granted, this is my experience with the demo, not the game, but it never let up. It never gave up. And yeah, like seriously, buy stock in Huggies before you get the game. You're gonna need some, like, cleanup afterwards.
The scariest thing...
That's why you wear the brown pants. That guy over there, he gets the idea. He gets the idea over there.
Oh wait, that's dried blood. Yeah, he's got a different problem.
That's Deadpool for you. So back to the topic. So Resident Evil, it's good then. I mean, it is good, right?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Very solid.
I mean, obviously, other people are going to, different things are going to appeal to different people.
And that's true. And I'm totally okay with them changing up, the genre. I mean, there's been so much Resident Evil stuff, and it really is a very old genre. One of the early games I bought for like the new Windows was one of the Resident Evil games that came out for Windows, and I'm talking like what was it? Windows 95? No, it was 98. Maybe it was 2000. I can't remember. It was really old. Really old.
One of those old crappy versions of Windows, yeah.
But I mean, it's been going on since then. So I mean, a new kind of, new shakeup is a good thing. So I think that's totally okay.
But does it tie back?
It
tie back to the previous games, previous series?
It takes place after the 6th game, which a lot of people were skeptical about because 5 and 6 were such a gong show in terms of horror and a little bit story as well. But it is very much within the world's story, and some of the reviewers are saying that the story was a little bit much, but that's because they weren't focusing so much on the story. That's not what was driving them forward. It was that constant dread, constant panic that made them take 3 steps forward, 1 step back at all times. So the story might get a little lost on you the first time around, is what I'm hearing.
Okay. Well, a key aspect of a good horror game, I find, is a good deal of uncertainty. Like, one of the scariest things is just uncertainty. Having unanswered questions, not knowing what the hell is actually going on. What happens when I go through this dark doorway? Is it just nothing? Is something going to jump out and rip my throat out? Am I just sitting here? Am I just kind of looking like an idiot to any outside observer because I'm just like, I'm so scared to go in there and there's nothing there? Like,
Yeah, and like, for instance, Resident Evil specific, it's I found this object. What am I going to do with this? I only have a set inventory. Is the next part going to be, like, am I going to need extra bullets, or am I going to need extra health? You never really know unless you're cheating and going online and doing walkthroughs.
I like.
Yeah, you just
I do
you
like
never
that.
know.
I do like that. I'm glad that they kind of like that's a mechanic that I like from the beginning. It's like when you have a limit of what you can carry, and you're like you know it's like, well, this is important, that is important, but this is also important, and oh my goodness, what do I do? You know, if I can only take 2 of these 3 things, like, oh my goodness, that kind of like, you know, that kind of driving thing is like, you know, that's fun usually if you're not spamming, like, you know, reloads and stuff like that. So
Yeah, walk somewhere, kill a dog, walk back to your inventory, save. Like, if you're doing that, it's going to get a little old, and then your 10-hour game becomes a 30-hour game. But it's, I mean, there's very little opportunity to do that, and the way that they did that was they brought it all the way back, like Resident Evil 1 style, and they limit your saves. You need to use up something in your inventory, ink ribbons
the old ink
memory
ribbons.
cards or whatever,
I remember
to
that.
actually save your game. So you can't kill an enemy, run back, save, kill another one, run back, save. Like, you can't do that, which is awesome.
Good, so you can't abuse the
'Cause you
system.
gotta
You
be
have
on
to
your toes.
actually. You have to actually make
You gotta
decisions.
play to
You got to
win.
make decisions for real, which is a neat aspect. And actually, sort of along similar lines, new Dishonored 2 update out this week that introduced Iron Mode, which apparently is permadeath and limited saves system. And on the one hand, that sounds just insane because, you know, it's
On the other hand, it's a challenge.
It is a challenge,
accept.
but
Yeah.
I could just imagine getting to, like, the last mission and then, like, making some stupid misstep and falling to your death and being like, oh crap. Because it really adds in another dynamic to the game, because you're like, okay, I gotta be careful that I don't miss this jump or miss this blink, or, you know, do I really want to fight these guys, or do I want to sneak past them, or do I want to, you know, am I well hidden enough? I'm looking forward to trying it. I'm really looking forward to trying it, because that should.
You guys are really going to need those how-tos on the Triple S League. How to stealth kill robots and stuff.
Yeah.
So, well, that's pretty good. You know, the one thing that does annoy me about saves, and this takes me all the way back to my DOS days, like DOS,
Woo!
is that one of the issues with a lot of the older DOS games that I used to play is that saves would always be corrupted. Not always be corrupted. It's like there's a 1 in 10 chance every time you saved that the save wouldn't actually save, and it would be broken save, it would be corrupt save, and you had to, like, basically restart your game, or, you know, back up to your previous save. So stuff like that. So I formed a habit back then that still lives through my gaming today, and that's that I will always, like, quadra save pretty much everything. So, like,
Really?
You save everything multiple times, kind of thing.
when I'm at, like, a really important point, I'll usually make 2 saves.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's just a habit that I've had. And trust me, I've had to delete several gigabytes worth of saves from Skyrim and Fallout several times. It's
Yes, Bethesda, fix your shit, man.
well, it's
Sorry, can I swear?
Well,
in
you know,
here?
when you think, though, about how much information has to go into each save file, like,
Yeah.
even you just quick
It's not-
save, you can bring a single, and I just did this because I switched over to Skyrim Special Edition from Vanilla Skyrim, or like the old one.
Good boy.
But, you know, I copied my save files over. You know, in just one save file has all the information. It's not
Yeah.
like you have to copy over a character file and it's got all this stuff stored, you know.
Yeah.
And so
No,
every
there's-
single variable in the game, you know, gets stored into the save file. So I see why it
Yes.
gets up to many gigabytes if you're saving a
Yes,
lot.
but they had 2 cracks at the same game. And there's still problems with save files after more than 100 hours. Going corrupt.
Save files corrupting.
Yeah. And whether it's your game crashes while you're saving, or you just load it up again and your save is gone, it's inexcusable the second time around.
Which game are you having this?
Skyrim Special Edition.
I haven't had any of those problems yet.
Okay, I'm at 150 hours, and they've just started happening to me now.
That sucks.
That could, yeah. See, I don't typically get that far into one.
So Saib is
like one playthrough.
Saib plays Iron Mode in everything.
Yeah,
he deliberately. He's basically a masochist when it comes to gaming. He just loves to torture himself. So I
make it hard because life is hard. You gotta play up to life's level. So I up the difficulty. Murder is like when you murder a civilian, it's always punishable by execution. So if you murder a civilian in a city and you're caught or you're seen, it's that's permanent. And that's you can never go back to that city ever again without all the guards going for you. You can't pay it off. If you get caught and you get arrested, you get taken to jail.
There's no bribes.
You spend 2 or 3 days in jail, then they march you up to the executioner block and either hang you or chop your head off. And that's the end of your game. And then it deletes all your save files.
That's horrifying. I saw your video on that actually, and I jaw to the floor. Why is he doing this to himself? Why do these mods exist? So what is wrong with people?
In one instance, I was and I don't play with I play with a bunch of other things that remove the way for you to know who's if somebody's hostile or whatever to you. So I've removed a lot of that kind of stuff. So you have to So when you're sneaking around, you don't really know, okay, is that guy walking over there, is he a guard for some traveling sales guy or noble or something?
Or is he Dawn Guard?
Or is he somebody in disguise? Or is he a bandit? And I was tracking this one guy once and I'm like, yeah, this is totally a bandit. You shot him in the neck and he died. And then I hear, Daddy, no. And oh. And it's you are now wanted for murder. And I'm like, well, that was a short game. But yeah, no, I gotta stop mentioning that story. I'm gonna come up with, I gotta play through a new one. But yeah, no, that's the kind of difficulty that's fun because it's like bumping up to a whole new challenge.
Yeah, but you don't mind restarting your character or hundreds of times or restarting with a new character. You crave that variety. Me, I couldn't be bothered to roll a second Skyrim or Fallout character ever. I might with Fallout 4. I might just to go to take a different story path to do the Institute quest line or something like that, just for fun. I might start another character but I get attached to my characters and it's they have this backstory in my mind and they have relationships with people and and plus then you don't have to start back at the beginning grinding all your skills up to where you're at and
up to 9,000.
It's but then again,
my Fallout character is so overpowered right now it's not even funny.
And that's the
I
reason
bumped up
why,
the difficulty
because
to just sort of accommodate for that, to make it more of a challenge again.
Yeah. But that's the primary reason why is after I played for so many hours and I have all this amazing good loot, it's well, at this point I pretty much walk around murdering everything I want to, and the difficulty is still really, really high. It's still if I get hit by 2 arrows in a row, I'm dead. And I do the wars. I do the attack on Whiterun and I do the whole attacks and stuff like that. And it's there's hundreds of arrows coming, and I get around it because I use the time slowing shouts and stuff like that. And that's how I mostly I'll slow time, go out, kill 1 or 2 people, then dart back into cover and stay there until I can charge up, do that again. And it's very it's very on your edge, kind of I don't want to lose this character. I've been working on this character for 30 hours. Come on, don't fail me now. So, yeah, it's something.
So speaking of Skyrim and Skyrim Special Edition, how many times are you willing to pay for the same game? This is something you wanted to talk about.
Well, this is something that we were talking about the other day. So, first of all, Skyrim and everybody hating on Skyrim Se, unless you bought it on a disc version and never registered that disc version to your account, like you got it for free. You got SE for free. Like everybody who had an account
On PC.
Not
on
me.
PC.
Yeah,
On
that's
PC.
PC only.
Not on console, they did not. So,
okay,
No.
well, console people, seriously. But I mean, even like, so all of the PCs got it for free. They got no right to complain. Like, they got handed a much better version of their game for free. Now, people are saying, Skyrim Se isn't pulling in the daily plays. Well, that's because the mods aren't there yet.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
I can't
give it a
this
minute.
enough. You can't, like, it's really hard to go back to non-modded Skyrim after playing modded Skyrim. People are like, but you can transfer the mods over. Well, not all of them.
not all of them
You're
were.
missing a
Actually,
couple.
that's why I was debating whether or not I wanted to upgrade to SE at this point. Because,
And it's a new benchmark for graphics alone. So,
So
all the mods that you could have to make it look prettier can be made prettier
yes.
for PC.
Now we're gonna see all those mods, all the really great mods. We're gonna see them all transfer over here. We're waiting for SKSE. SKSE for both Fallout and Skyrim Special Edition is being worked on, apparently. And when it comes out, a whole ton of these mods will be able to just hop over, done. So that is looking really good. And to be honest, people just need to wait. SKSE took a few years for them to get it right. So, it's kind of you can't just expect it to, hey, look, it's right there. I am a little disappointed that it did not, that Bethesda didn't work with SKSE to help them come up with a quicker version of it, like get it out faster. It's one of the things that I think that they should have kind of more or less adopted, because it's a universal thing, right? If it's a universal thing, it's kind of important. Now, yeah, you don't want to show favoritism to certain, to selected people, right? That's that's not good. That's not good to show favoritism to one particular set of modders. You don't want to do that. But on the other hand,
yeah,
it's not a bad idea to reach out and connect with certain people to help create better tools for the thing, because let's be honest, their tools aren't perfect. They didn't even bother to clean their own
interface.
Clean their mod file, not their mod files, but their ESPs. And so, the core game files had dirty edits in them. Dirty edits is an edit that somebody does inadvertently to the core game files that can cause a crash or a bug. And it's an easy thing to fix if you know how to fix it. And apparently they just never did it. And that's really dumb.
There's so many quests that still don't work for the new version.
Yeah, so there's all these kinds of problems and things where it's like you could have reached out and connected with the community a little bit. There are some modders out there, and Caliente is a great example. There are some modders out there who do a way better job. Yes, it takes them a lot longer because they spend way more time on it, but
and also they're working in their spare time for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like some of them, it's like just call them up and just be like, hey, we'll give you a special shout out. Would you like to volunteer some time to we're doing this, sign this NDA, you can work on this thing, and then you can keep working on your mod down the road. And it's not that we're showing favoritism. It's not that we're agreeing 100% with your work. It's just that we want the experience to be the best for our fans. That's what it comes down to, and that's what makes is going to make and break gaming companies in the next few years, I believe. So anyways, so that's, we've been there before, but
so
and that's Skyrim, but buying the same game.
Buying the same game. So, I know you being on PC, we got it for free, but,
So, and Skyrim is just one of many. I'm looking at my PS3 collection right now, and so many of these games exist on PS4. I go to that store, whether it's the digital store or the physical store, and they want me to pay full price for the PS4 version, whether it looks that much better or not, and whether I bought it already once, twice, 3 times a lady, Resident Evil 4, something like that. How many versions of this game do they want us to buy? We just keep buying it over and over and over again. And unless you're on PC, you don't get breaks. And even if you are on PC, you don't get financial breaks for certain games. And
well,
when is it going to stop?
Now, hold on. Some of these things are like somewhat explainable. Like, for example, I don't know for sure, but I can hazard a solid guess that one of the reasons why it didn't show up on the consoles for free is that you had to pay. That they had to pay Xbox and PlayStation for, they had to pay them a fee if they were going to do it for free. And so therefore they were forced into charging money because, greedy corporations.
But full price again?
Well,
money I get, but full price again?
Well, and again, I can't speculate 100% on this, but I'm assuming that, look at what the consoles have tried to do in the past. Like, they want to, knock out the competition and then be the only game in town they want to be the only show in town that, offers or allows people to do this kind of stuff, period. They don't care really, like, if they had the power to, they would be the only ones, and the quality would, be terrible, and they would not play nice with fans. Like, we see this every time one of them gets too powerful. They start coming up with all these crazy things. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to do this and this and this.
Sony.
Well, no, it's been Sony and Microsoft. Both. And
yeah, back and forth. Depends on the generation.
And so that's why you need two consoles, and why you need PCs still there, because some of these developers, some of these people, we were just talking about another game which shall remain unnamed. I was talking with a developer who there's been some recent stuff going on about their game, and some debate and some discussion, and the dev basically said, look, our game is the best game, and if it were up to me, we wouldn't have any competition. People would only be allowed to play our game. And I'm looking at him like he's crazy. Like, you realize that you're opting for this one system where you control everything. He's like, yeah, because I'm right. I'm like,
whoa.
Okay, I realize, you've got professional pride in your product, but to say that you deserve the right to be the only game in the genre, period,
yeah,
that's unacceptable. And you gotta understand that there's a lot of companies out there who there's a lot of CEOs that think like this. And that's why, that's why we have a marketplace. That's why we have more than one. That's why we don't, let, mega corporations to take over everything and create, one-sided distribution. It doesn't do anything good. You have to have healthy competition.
And
yeah.
Usually when people talk about that option, I have some experience with folks in an artistic endeavor who have spoken like that about their own work, and usually when people are talking like that, their stuff is not that great. Like, they don't have the product to back it up. Whether that product it's kind of funny. It's
a physical performance or a disc-based game or whatever they're doing.
When it comes to these kinds of creative endeavors, ego is typically inversely proportional to your artistic quality, and
your wiener. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's anyway. So I was, whenever I hear people talking like that, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. If you really don't think that you have anything to learn from other people out there in the marketplace, other people out there in the creative community, if you think yours is the best and it can't be better, and there's no possible way you could improve upon it, and nothing you could possibly learn, well, I'm not really interested in what you've made, because obviously you don't have a firm grasp on reality, and
a
firm grasp on the creative process, or a firm grasp on why artists do better in the community. And game development is an art form.
Most definitely.
There's a corporate aspect to it, but actually one of the reasons I love indie games so much, and I do indie showcase, and I wish I could do it a lot more than I'm able to.
I want to get in on that, man. I really do.
It's these
indies are
these
timeless
indie developers.
these days.
Yeah, they have the freedom to really be artistic with their work, to take some risks that, you know, a big company that's pouring, you know, millions of dollars into developing a game, they want to do something they know works, which is understandable. They have to turn a profit or there's no company. But they're not going to be willing to take all that many risks. Unless your name is Hideo Kojima, and, you know, then maybe...
Then you go balls to the wall with everything you do.
But he's got a proven track record, right? But yeah,
that's right.
But indie developers, I love it, like all these indie games, you know, have just exploded, and there's so much great stuff.
So good.
That, just because people have had this level of creative freedom, and usually, you know, I found the best ones are fairly humble about their work. Like, you know, I made this game, hope you guys like it. Let me know.
Yeah, and these are the people you can talk to on Twitter, like they're in your living room with you, and just they really are people being people, not people being the face of corporations. And I love that about a lot of indie developers. I really have contacted certain people, like the creators of Monument Valley. Just like hit them up on Twitter. They love to chat with you. And even if you're not talking about their game, they want to hear from you because you know about them.
I do want to mention, sadly, that Roger Hanna Morash has unfortunately passed away. He passed away, I believe, sometime yesterday. He helped make the platformer Shard. I played that once or twice. Was very impressed with it. I thought, wow, this is really good because it's a real, you know, it's a real thinker. And so, anyways, I just wanted to mention that because he deserves a shout out and for his work and his life and his unfortunate passing. So, anyways, that's sad news for today.
All the best to his friends and family.
Yeah, this is, you know, we've seen a lot of young talent kind of go in some pretty sad ways. So
it's not 2016 anymore, people. You can live now.
But anyway, at any rate, what else we got in the news for today, or I should say this week? Got
I don't know.
Banner Sega announced their last game. It's fun. It's funny. They're like, yeah, this trilogy, third game's coming out, and this third game will be the end of the trilogy. It's like, no, really? Is that why you call it a trilogy? Is that?
Oh, well, Star Wars. Hey.
I guess.
Alien.
But no, it looks like they're going to be drawing Banner Sega to an end here in this upcoming game. So. That's interesting because I like the game. I haven't gotten into it as much as I would have liked to have. The story, the gameplay is all very, very good. I'm just, and I hate to say this because I know I'm going to get transferred for it, but I'm not a fan of the art. Like, I like the art. It's something. No. The art is something that I would look at in most environments and go, I really appreciate this. This is a good art style. It's not something I can stare at for hours and hours on end. And that's where it gets me. I played it briefly. I thought it was brilliant. And my first thought was, I wonder if there's a game like this that doesn't have this style of graphics.
Oh man. I was wondering how clever you were being when you said the trilogy is drawing to a close. I was like, I hear that, and I just picture Banner Sega's visuals. It's drawing to a close.
So, I mean, again, big fan of the game. Really wish I could see, and I hope they take this mechanic and they do a new game and a new kind of story and a new world with new art. Would be really, really cool. Would be really, really awesome. It's not that the art's bad. It's just that I can't stare at it for hours and hours on end just because it just doesn't mesh with my sense of art and style. So, but
fair enough.
But no, definitely a good game. Definitely a recommended buy. Very good strategy game, and yeah, so no, that I think is really great. And I was honestly very tempted to do some Banner Sega cosplay, but whatever.
Oh.
So, anyways.
So Bad Option, what are you going to be playing on your channel this week?
This week, I'm hitting Witcher 3. I just started it. It's really cool. If it's anything like Skyrim, I have 150 hours on my Skyrim. Not all of that is streamed, granted, but I think Witcher is the type of game that I would really like to see streamed from beginning to end, so it will be quite a journey if you guys want to join me over on my channel, bad_option.
That's Twitch.
What do you think?
Check it out.
What do you think of them coming out with a new Witcher bar game that's coming out? The actual. Have you played the little bar card game thing that they're doing?
Yes, Gwent. Yeah. I didn't think I'd like Gwent. You know what? I had these pre-notions that it was like every other card game that I've just kind of passed over. Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering, you name it. It never really seemed my thing, but I like the Gwent. I'm digging the Gwent. So, I mean, yeah, like, join me on my channel. You can see my cards. Help me play a game of Gwent, because I'm new to all this.
I'd be curious to watch that,
There'll be a lot of questions.
Yeah.
You can help me out.
So thank you so much, Bad Option, for joining us this week on the podcast. It was great to have your input. You can check him out at twitch.tv/bad_option. And some of his stuff makes it onto our channel as well. All right, and thank you everybody for listening. We'll talk to you next week.